wonderful people out there. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you very much for lending me your time and your ear and listening in to another video from me today. And I want to talk about something that I know that I've probably talked about before, but I'm going to talk about it again and make it sound a little bit more profound and better this time. And that is the fact that Nintendo is irrelevant. Said all that on one breath. Sorry. Okay. Here's my thing. Here's my thing. Nintendo is irrelevant. People keep saying Nintendo's irrelevant. And then they want to pretend that they've gone out of business for some reason or that everything that they've done is bad for some reason. Fine. Cool. Perfectly okay with me. They're irrelevant to you. Perfectly fine by me. I have no qualm with that. And there are some people who say Nintendo is irrelevant and they pay no attention to any shit that has to do with Nintendo. They see it, they turn the other fucking way. I applaud you for sticking to your convictions. Because you know what? I can respect you. You're sticking to your convictions. You're not saying it just to say it as a mouthpiece. You're actually saying it and meaning it and actually sticking to that. So, again, I applaud you. If you ever hear this video, I applaud you few people. And I do mean few, because there's only a few of you. I could probably count you on my fingers, sadly enough. But there are a few of you who have said that and maintained that. And I do respect that. Because you're not going back on what you said. But then there are the mouthpieces who will say, well, Nintendo's irrelevant. But you're talking about them like every other day, if not every day. You talk more about them than I do, and my channel is more Nintendo centric than most that I've seen. That's what drives me a little bonkers here. I'm like, hold on. If Nintendo's irrelevant, why are you following every little bit of news that comes out about them? Why are you the first one to speak on every rumor that comes out about them? Why are you the first one to try to give your opinion on everything that they do if they are irrelevant? And this is not a select few people. There are a lot of people who say this and then do the complete opposite. And as I've said before, like way back, I can't claim that Microsoft or Sony are irrelevant because I pay attention to them. And I pay attention to them because I want to see what the next big thing that they're doing is, and I want to see them do something that is great and worthwhile. Like, I'm always interested in hearing about the new things that they're doing. Like, while I don't think it's the greatest thing for their console business, I do think it's a great thing that Microsoft is pushing cross-platform play with the Windows 10 and Xbox One. I think that's awesome. Like, I'm definitely down for that. Cross-platform play, cross-share saving, and cross-buying. I'm down for that because that's the type of shit I want to see. I'm interested in that. And Sony having like exclusives to the PS4 that like caught my eye, like Horizon Zero Dawn. But like, I know there are several people who don't really care about that game, but to me it looks interesting. Like, it's one of those games I'm like, ooh, that's cool. I would play that. And then there's The Last Guardian, which has been talked about back and forth for like a good portion of time. That's finally going to be making its way out on the PS4. Hopefully it lives up to the hype that it has developed. With that aside, PlayStation VR also. I'm not the biggest fan of VR. Like, I don't think it's the best thing right now because there's going to be a lack of stuff that really truly utilizes VR in a unique way. I can think of a few, as I've said before, but I might actually do a short video series on that. But that's beside my point right now. To say something is irrelevant means that you will not invest time in it. You won't give it the energy to have relevancy to yourself. Meaning you won't put effort into worrying anything about it. You wouldn't care about it. It wouldn't matter if that thing decided to blow up. You wouldn't give a fuck. That's what irrelevant is. Irrelevant would be, let's see, the N-Gage. When that thing came out, I paid it no fucking mind whatsoever. I was like, it's a phone that plays games, and it looks complicated as fuck. Not interested. That was the last thing I said about the Engage myself, as far as gauging whether or not I would be interested in it. That was it. I didn't pay any other attention to it, and I didn't even know the fucking thing disappeared from existence until someone told me. Like that's how irrelevant it was to me. I paid no mind to it. But to say Nintendo is irrelevant, and then to be following every press release by them, to follow every comment or rumor about them, to follow every thing that they do just to complain about how wrong it is, they're relevant. Whether you want them to be or not, they're relevant. You can say, I don't like the things that Nintendo's doing, but to say that they're irrelevant and then talk about them is literally an oxymoron. It's literally an oxymoron because you're calling them irrelevant, but then you're giving them attention. Like, you don't give irrelevant things attention. Like, questioning whether or not people understand the definitions of the words that they're using, or even if they even give a fuck about the definition of the words that they're using. That's maybe again, maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe it's just because I'm not down to lock myself into the ways of gamers that are new to gaming, and that I generally want to share my own personal perspective rather than worry about what the crowd is saying and utilizing their lingo just to fit in with what they're saying. Like, because I could give a fuck less. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was literally the most talked about game at E3. There were lines of hundreds of people waiting at E3 just to play the fucking demo. Just to play the demo of the one game that Nintendo took there for people to play. If Nintendo was that fucking irrelevant, why are there so many people wasting their goddamn time on them? That's the thing. And don't hit me with the bullshit. Or there's just a bunch of Nintendo fanboys. Nah, fuck that. It ain't just a bunch of Nintendo fanboys. Because there are people with fucking Microsoft and Sony channels who were fucking waiting in that goddamn line to go play some fucking Zelda Breath of the Wild. There were plenty of people waiting to fucking play that shit. So don't give me that bullshit. Don't give me that bullshit whatso fucking ever. There are people. There are like, if you look at the, I think Game Explain is on their channel. But you look at that line, and you'll notice some people wearing some different insignia stuff that isn't related to Nintendo, as far as gaming is concerned. You might have to look really close, but you'll notice. So I don't think it's a Nintendo fanboy thing. It's just that, well, Zelda's a popular franchise and Nintendo happens to own it. It's one of the most major franchises in gaming to this day. But Nintendo owns it. The worst thing is, if Nintendo is so irrelevant, how the fuck are they always making headlines? Like, they're literally damn near every day making some sort of headlines with major gaming publications. Whether it's good news or bad news, they're always making headlines. Hell, the newest thing that people are harping on is their what they said about VR, or what Reggie Fils-Aimé said about VR, and that he feels like the market's not ready for it. I've been saying the same shit. I said it before him. Like, just the fact that he feels the same way means, well, we're probably thinking the same way. There's just not a whole lot of shit out for it yet, and there's not a whole lot of uses for it. And on top of that, there's no way to really do VR right this moment safely without wires, and then wired, even with the wires, it comes to be a risk. Another thing he mentions was AR, and I'm like, yeah, I think you guys should definitely go that way, but I didn't. It's not like I can talk to him face to face right this moment. If it ever happens, I'd be like, you guys definitely would be better off with AR, but not up to me. Um, I don't know. Like for something to be irrelevant, why waste so much time on it? I've never understood that, and I'm never going to understand that. If somebody is unimportant, they're irrelevant, they are of no significant, they have no significant stature to yourself. You don't invest time in them or it. You just don't. It's redundant. I that's I just felt like getting that thought out. I had to get that thought out and just put it out. I don't even know if I'm actually going to upload this, but it's just one of those things. Like I had to get the thoughts out. I had to say something just to get it off my chest and get it out my head. If Nintendo's irrelevant, stop paying attention to them. That's how you make irrelevant things irrelevant. You don't pay attention to them. The more that you bring them up, the more relevancy you give them. Therefore, literally defeating the purpose of your own statement. That's it. That's all I got to say anymore. Thank you guys very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears up for more stuff. Until next time, enjoy your games. Peace the fuck out.